Ignite is an ongoing series of speedy presentation. Each speaker gets only 5 minutes and 20 slides that auto-advance every 15 seconds.
It's illegal to live in a small house. That's part of why I do it, and that's part of why I'm here encouraging you to do the same, because when it comes to tiny houses, this country could use a little bit of civil disobedience. We could use a tiny revolution. The organization that produced our codes, our building codes, is actually comprised largely of the building industry itself. So it's no wonder that our codes dictate that we buy more product than many of us really do need. Beyond that, beyond these really obvious conflicts of interest, there are some a little less obvious circumstances. Our houses are the biggest in the world. They're 4 times the international average, so it's worth looking at this. Our houses, the first thing I want to talk about as far as consequences go is the environmental effect of these big houses. Our houses on average put out like 7 tons worth of construction waste and 18 tons worth of greenhouse gases per year. Second problem's monetary. Our houses cost over $200,000 on average. That's way more than the average American can afford. So our codes really ensure that the have-nots in this country have no house at all. The next point I'd like to make is that bad design results from these codes, because as long as our houses are designed to meet really dumb codes, instead of people's needs, bad design will result. Next point is double taxation. We're in this country, we subsidize the banks for decades now. We've been doing this by paying for more product than many of us really need. And then when it's time to do the bailouts, we pay again at the back end to sustain a system that never worked in the first place. So I'm all for people being allowed to live beyond their means if they want to, but mandatory excess, being forced to live beyond their means is something I'm not really into. The next problem, as I see it, is economy. Economy and excess are really pretty much mutually exclusive. You can have the sort of serenity that a small space affords, or a reasonably sized space for whatever your needs are, or you can have exorbitance, but you can't have both. Extra space that you're not using eats up heating and cooling and mortgage payments, and ultimately demands that we sacrifice a piece of our lives to meet those needs. Last point I'll make as far as the consequences go is safety. Smaller houses are safer. In essence, in a fire or in an earthquake, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. I think it's time for a reality check. I'm not suggesting that everybody be forced into 400 square feet or anything like that. I'm just suggesting that maybe those of us who would like to live more simply be allowed to do so. As long as the law ignores justice and reason, then just and reasonable people are going to ignore the law. And a lot of people might say that these people are a menace to society. I'm just saying the excess itself is the menace. Now, I confessed a little bit ago to being one of these outlaws myself. That's not quite true, because I did find a loophole to get around this and stay within the fringes of law-abiding society. When I found out that my house would be illegal, I put it on wheels. And so, building codes per se don't apply to this kind of thing because it's not a building, it's a vehicle. And when the zoning department told me that I couldn't live in a vehicle on a residential lot, but sometimes people park vehicles in their driveways and they can camp out there as much as they want, I bought a house, rented it out, and camped out in my own backyard for about 5 years. And they were fine with that. Simplification is a really complicated process sometimes. This is all not to say that the codes themselves are the solely thing responsible for this supersized state of things. It's really consumers. We consumers have confused consumption with freedom and sacrificed the latter for the former. I'd like to take a moment. I hope you'll bear with me while I try out some new lyrics in a song I was creating. It's a brag rap song called Mine's So Tiny. Bigger ain't better, it's just more hassle. So if you think you're king of the castle, well, think once again, because it's ruling you. You're ruled by a mortgage and a vacuum cleaner too. Don't be sad, don't be whiny. You're just mad because mine's so tiny. My house is tiny and it's fat. It's lean, it's green. Chicks to get like that. One last note, totally separate, final note. Be careful of these guys. They wait outside here after this place closes down. They're not into due process in Sebastopol, but they are into turning a buck quick, so be careful. Don't give them an easy way out and get drunk and drive.